I just finished something I've been working at for 2 years, off and on. As you know, I'm a big comic nerd, Doctor Who nerd as well, apparently. And I've been reading a lot of comics on my iPad. Well, the reason I'm bringing it up is I've just finished collection 449 of the Superman Post Crisis Chronology. Greetings, Dave here, DCBFX. I've been doing this for 2 years. It's a series of trade paperbacks that have been, they're available online and, you can buy them and all these things. I've been reading everything Superman. And I've talked about comics in the past. I've talked about how, Infinite Crisis isn't very good, looking back at it. And other things that have happened is, this covers pretty much everything starting after Crisis on Infinite Earths, which is 1985, was the maxi series they brought out in order to combine everything into one cohesive universe. So, they basically got rid of all the different Hawkmen and the different Supermen, because they used to be, up until then, you had Earth 1, which is, the heroes we know, and Earth 2, which was the heroes that were active during the 40s. So, the JSA versus the JLA, and Superman Kal-El rather than Kal-El, things like that. And they combined it all into one cohesive thing. And it was very ambitious at the time. It was really well done. Marv Wolfman and George Perez, it did a good job. So then, after that, they had to change their heroes. So Batman got a new origin, well, a modified origin. Superman got a new origin. And John Byrne was the person to take that and run with it. And his first 2 years were amazing. And from what I understand, he had a bit of a falling out with DC, and that's why it sort of stopped. But his Man of Steel was just phenomenal, and the next 2 years were phenomenal. So I started reading them. I went from 1986, and this is post-crisis. So this is when Superman from the original 1986 took over for the New 52. This really goes up to the New 52 and it sort of stops there. That this last issue, 449, takes place a couple years later. I hated the New 52. I hated it with a passion, like to the point of, close it up, it launched. And in reading these books, you can see why it was something they thought to do. Because up until like the year before the New 52, so around 2010, this stuff is utter garbage. Like the Grounded was a stupid storyline. All these other things they're doing, it was garbage. They brought back Krypton. They took the Bottle City Kandor, which most people know about Bottle City. It was stolen by Brainiac and kept in the fortress. They enlarged it, and suddenly there's 100,000 Kryptonians running around. So they make another Krypton that is in sort of an opposite orbit of Earth. So if Earth is here in the sun, here's the sun, new Krypton's here. So over the span of a year, Superman goes and lives on New Krypton. And then Mon-El comes and fills in as the protector. Good to see Mon-El getting something out of it, but they killed most of them. You had 100,000 Kryptonians, and now it's just Superman, Supergirl again. Anyway, it was garbage up until that point, so I guess I can see their point. Let's start over, let's do something new. But then it didn't get any better. The New 52, it came out, and I walked into my comic shop, and I said, what do you got for me? So, everything's starting over. Here's Nightwing #1, and here's Justice League #1. Okay. Cancel. What? Cancel my pulls. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. So I haven't really, other than looking at Convergence, I haven't really done much comic-wise since then, just because you don't throw away 75 years worth of history. Now, that's been retconned back, and it's coming back in. But as I say, as I read this, like it started off with this, and it ended up with this. And in between then, you had all these different things. You had all these different crises. You had Identity Crisis. You had Infinite Crisis. You had Final Crisis. You had all these different things. And it seems like DC can't go a couple of years without a crisis. And it doesn't make any sense to me either. But you had some decent things. The Death of Superman was very ambitious for the time. And it brought in some new characters. And, it was pretty good. Steel was a good character. The Eradicator. Superboy was good for the time. He got a little weird after a while. But we've had, since then, so since 86 to 2016, we've had his origins retold again. well, and then New 52 again. And it just can't leave well enough known. Like, why don't you just leave it as is? Like, some of the best stuff I've read in years up until New 52 was the Justice Society, because they knew about history and they kept that going. This is next generation. Much like Infinity Inc. was a great series that was based on Earth 2, so it went away by way of the Crisis. They got rolled in, and it kind of turned into Drac after that. It started off Todd McFarlane. That's where he, that's where he got his big break there. Well, one of the big breaks. And it was good, and then Crisis sort of stirred the pot a little bit, and I sort of accepted the fact that that was the new history moving forward. And yeah. So the thing is, I've done it. I've read all 449 trade paperbacks. Glad I got a digital on my iPad, because there's no way I'm 449. That's stacks. Would I recommend it? Yeah, if you can find it somewhere to read it, I guess. There's some really great parts of it. Like I say, The Death of Superman was a good story. It was kind of like, he died, he's coming back. Oh, yeah, it's Superman, flagship character. It's interesting as it goes through time and the different things that happen, and this is canon. Now it's not. Now it is. Now it's not. Just see that going through over time. But it was interesting, and I enjoyed doing it. And now I'm on to the new Teen Titans, because I love the Teen Titans when they came out in the 80s, and they made it through Crisis pretty well. Introduced Nightwing, introduced Jericho, other things like that. So it was pretty good in that respect. But that's the next thing I'm going to read through here, because I have all 14 editions available for me as well. So that is sort of a milestone for me. I've been able to get through all that. And the last 6 or 7, I did them all on Saturday. I was like, oh, sitting outside on my swing on a nice day and just reading next. Oh, come on. Come on. Really? Come on. Justice League goes to hell? What? Come on. So there you go. It's done. And well, I think in the end, it's a pretty good accomplishment, because I got through it all, and I'm sort of not going to do that ever again. So that's my video for today. Everyone have a great day. We'll talk to you all later.